joining us right now to talk about his own candidacy and why he wants to be governor of Virginia over the next 4 years, Republican candidate Glenn Youngkin. Glenn, welcome to the show. It's an honor to talk to you and have you on the show.
Oh, Don, it's such an honor for me to be on your show. I listen to you all the time, so thank you for having me.
Oh, good. I'm glad there's at least one person out there listening. Listen, I want to ask you several questions, and I know we may run out of time before we get to all of them, but for those who don't know much about your background, what can you bring to the office of governor should you win? In other words, what kind of life experience do you have that really you feel now could well serve the Commonwealth?
Well, Don, first of all, I am a proud homegrown Virginian. I was born in Richmond, and when my dad lost his job, we moved down to Virginia Beach, and I went to work when I was 15 and learned how to work hard, understand the dignity of work. My lovely wife, Suzanne, and I, after I was in college, came back to Northern Virginia 27 years ago. And we raised our family, and we're very busy in our church. It's at the center of our life. And I was working hard at a firm called the Carlyle Group that started out as a small firm and grew to be a big firm. And I had the amazing privilege to step in and lead it for a while with another gentleman after our founder stepped back. And that was an amazing privilege, and I thought that was a dream come true. But I had a calling last summer to step down from Carlyle and go into public service. And I feel like my business experience, which is unlike anybody else's in this race, at the scale and at the scope and at the demonstrated capacity to deliver results, not empty promises, is what is needed right now in Virginia. I'm a political outsider. I haven't been running for office. I haven't been serving for 30 years. I'm not someone who is run and lost and made empty promises. I'm a fresh candidate who has new ideas on how to bring people together and deliver results. I'm a man of faith, and I'm guided by my faith, and it's the absolute cornerstone of everything that I do. And therefore, I think at this time when the Commonwealth is being challenged like never before, that I'm the man for the job. And I'd say that with great humility because I've never run for anything before, and I'm just so encouraged by the tremendous support that I've received over the last 12 weeks during the campaign. We went from nobody knowing who I am to actually getting one of the largest endorsements of the campaign this morning from Middle Resolution. We've had 10,000 delegates sign up to support us, more than any other candidate, I think more than the other candidates all put together. And we are seeing financial support from across the country and from around the Commonwealth, much greater than any of my peers. And so, yes, I think this is a moment where I feel incredibly humbled and privileged and purposeful in what I'm doing running for governor and going to work for Virginians over the next 4 years.
Well, what are some of the most urgent, the most critical issues you feel face the Commonwealth right now that really are overdue to be addressed? What would you do to address some of those issues? What are the top 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 issues that you want to see addressed quickly?
Well, most importantly, Don, we have to get our Commonwealth open. And day one, we're going to open Virginia. We're going to open our schools. We're going to open our businesses. We're going to open our houses of worship because Virginia needs to be open. We've seen in states like Florida and Texas that, in fact, this is not a moment where we are going to put the health risk of Virginians in jeopardy because we can actually look after lives and livelihoods. And this governor has just done a terrible job of overstepping and actually putting Virginia at the bottom of the list of personal liberties. And so we're going to get Virginia open. We're going to revitalize this economy and rebuild our job machine and get this great Commonwealth back where she belongs as the best state in America to live and work and raise a family. But we're also going to stand up for our constitutional rights. Our constitutional rights have been encroached upon like never before. And I'm just going to start with our First Amendment right. And I don't know how you felt, Don, but when this governor opened up massage parlors and ABC stores and kept my church closed last year, I knew he didn't share the same values I do. So we're going to stand up for our First Amendment rights, but we're also going to stand up for the unborn. We're going to stand up for our 10th Amendment right and the overreach from Washington right now. Goodness gracious, Don, they're actually debating a bill to pack the court. So we as Virginians need to come together like never before and make a statement that our shared values are going to elect a Republican governor, Glenn Youngkin, who can actually lead us to a new day and get Virginia moving and put her back where she belongs as the best state in America.
Well, I've been impressed also, Glenn, that not only for yourself and your own immediate candidacy, which you say you're getting good and growing support financially and otherwise, but also there's something called Virginia Wins PAC. And by the way, folks, make the note of virginiawins.com. Talk about the PAC and the fact that it really is intended, as I understand it, to support all levels of government and some of your colleagues who need to be in office as well. Is that right?
You bet, Don. I think one of the biggest challenges we've had is the flood of money that has come in from outside Virginia sources like George Soros supporting left liberal candidates. And so Virginia Wins was started independent from the gubernatorial campaign, and we've made a large forward commitment, and we've actually funded $400,000 already to support local races, supervisory board races, school board races, sheriff races, Commonwealth's attorney races, delegate races. And these are so important that we stand up against the flood of money coming from outside Virginia to elect conservative Republican voices into these most important seats. My victory in November will not be a lonely one. We're going to bring a whole crop of Republicans with us. And we're also going to take back our House of Delegates. We only need 6 seats across the Commonwealth, and we're tracking 15 to 20 that we should take back. And so I just so look forward to really leading a change in Virginia that puts balance, if not Republican leadership, fully back in place, and we can see Virginia have a new day.
I understand that when COVID hit the state, you and your wife, Suzanne, founded something called the Virginia Ready Initiative. What is that about? What can you tell us about it, and how successful has that been?
Well, the Virginia Ready Initiative, we started last spring when so many Virginians were losing their jobs as a result of the pandemic. And over the course of last year, 1.5 million Virginians had to file for first-time unemployment benefits. And that was far in excess than necessary as our governor kept our economy and our schools and our churches closed unnecessarily for an extended period of time. And so Virginia Ready stepped in, and we organized 25 leading businesses across the Commonwealth to actually identify jobs that were open, ready, tens of thousands of jobs in healthcare and IT and manufacturing and logistics. And then we raised $10 million in a very short period of time. And then we launched Virginia Ready to support those folks that were looking for new jobs so they could earn a credential at their local community college in 6 to 12 weeks and start a new life, a new career, and an in-demand job. And what Virginia Ready did was once they finished their credential in 6 to 12 weeks, we'll pay them $1,000 and we'll support them getting a new job with one of our great business partners. We've had over 2,500 people enter this program to find new opportunities, and it's just been amazingly successful. Over 60% minority involvement and 60% women. It's been a huge success, and Suzanne and I are just overwhelmed by the fact that we have an amazing CEO and a woman named Karen Merrick who stepped into this to lead it and has just taken Virginia Ready to a whole different level. And so it's been an amazing blessing for us to be part of it.
Well, you've talked about getting a very measurable, noticeable support, grassroots, financial, and otherwise. What are some of the things anecdotally that people have been saying to you, Glenn, in terms of you're getting a pulse on the Commonwealth? What have they said? If we elect you, this is what we need, this is what we want.
Well, at the top of the list has been an outsider, not a politician, somebody who brings fresh, new ideas, who understands how to get a big organization moving, but to run it efficiently, to show fiscal discipline, and to deliver results that are actually based on our shared values. This has been the most humbling period for people, as people have stood up and said, Glenn, we're for you, and I've just met them. I've also heard over and over again, Glenn, we really respect your motivations for doing this. We know you quit your job. We know that you stepped out of a big opportunity to actually go serve Virginia. And then finally, I believe that the opportunity to lead a different kind of campaign. Republicans have lost for 11 straight years in statewide elections, And the idea that we're going to run the same old campaign and get a different outcome really is the definition of insanity. And so we're running a completely different kind of campaign at a different scale. We're reaching into the minority communities like never before. We're involving women like never before. We're stretching across this great commonwealth and bringing people together. And this path to victory is distinctive and different than anybody else in the Republican ticket. And I've heard over and over again, Glenn, you're the only one that can beat Terry McAuliffe or whoever else they send at us. And that's so important right now. So I look so forward to winning on May the 8th and then turning around and running a campaign like no governor has ever run and winning in November and going to work for Virginians next January and serving Virginia in a way that puts her back where she belongs as the best state in America.
And the last question, last 30 seconds, Glenn, how can folks who want to learn more or be involved get in touch with you? What should they do?
Yeah, we'd love to have all of you involved. Please join us at youngkin4governor.com. It's YOUNGKIN, forgovernor.com. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Glenn Youngkin, or feel free to just call us, and you can get our number off the website or sign up to be a volunteer. And we'd also ask for everybody who has not signed up to be a delegate, if your county is still open, please sign up and show up on May 8th and vote. So thank you, Don, for having me. It's such a privilege to be on your show.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, Glenn. I hope we'll talk again soon.
I look forward to it, and have a blessed day.